Welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Daily Discourse. So this week I'd kind of like to build off of something that my wife talked about in her blog a few days ago. Right now, my wife and I, we are expecting our first child in a few months, in April. And something that my wife blogged about this week, she talked about the challenges that we are going to face trying to raise a kid in the Catholic faith. And not necessarily the Catholic faith, but just faith in general, just because nowadays it just seems like people view religion and faith as so unevolved and unacademic. And that just seems kind of ironic to me, just because the reason I am Catholic is because I consider myself an intellectual. I consider myself a deep thinker, and that's why I am Catholic. So I am Catholic. I'm a believer for those reasons, because I think it is so evolved and intellectual. I mean, one thing that's very appealing to me about the Catholic faith is that it's all about the marriage between science and faith. Neither one is greater than the other. They're equally important, and there can be no contradiction between the two. So I mean, science and reason, faith. I mean, they have to mesh. And that's just something that's very attractive to me, because kind of the way my mind thinks. Um, and most people that know me, that have talked to me and had these kinds of conversations with me, would probably consider me a skeptic. I consider myself a skeptic to a certain extent. I do not believe in ghosts and things like that. And my wife does. She loves all those ghost hunter shows or whatever it is, and I think they're all phony. And I don't believe in psychics or anything like that. You know, um, but so I mean, it would seem kind of weird that I am a believer, but I mean that's mainly because it makes sense to me. I mean, it does not make sense not to believe. Um, I mean, just the way my mind works, I go with whatever makes the most logical sense, and to me, belief does. To me, Catholicism does to me, just because of my own personal experience, but also because it's a type of religion that is not only open to science and reason, but it integrates those things, and they're integral parts. Um, I kind of find it funny, the phenomenon of militant atheism and militant non-belief. I kind of find it funny, just because to me atheism, it is a religion. It has it I mean, to me a religion is not only an outward expression of spirituality, but religion is also a set of defined beliefs. Well, atheism does have a defined belief, namely that there is no higher power, what I would call a God. But just for the sake of discussion, let's just call it a higher power. They don't believe in a higher power or any sort of spiritual force behind the universe. And that's an article of faith right there. It requires faith to declare there is no higher power or there is no God. So right there, I mean, right there, the fact that they have an article that requires belief, that makes it a faith. And I mean, just to me, this is why I find militant atheism to be such a funny thing, because militant atheism is no different than fundamentalist religion or fundamentalist Christianity, because, I mean, given that atheism is a religious system, militant atheism, the act of taking any means necessary to spread and aggressively spread that belief system, kind of like fundamentalist Christianity tries to vigorously and aggressively spread the Christian belief system, or fundamentalist Islam or Judaism or whatever type of religion you have, does the same sort of thing, just tries to aggressively spread its own belief system, and doesn't really look to consider other points of view as valid or um, logical, or what have you. So I mean, that just kind of this type of thing I've been thinking about a little bit lately.